Hello and welcome to an Everquest setup guide for a level 100 monk. And this is going to vary, slightly from my video on the heroic 100 character, because this character is a little bit more thought out, and I've been building it for what, the last I don't even see how. My playtime apparently is 1 year. I don't know. I can't see the actual 27 day or 26 days, almost 27 days. So playing this a lot and whatnot. So it's a very built out character, if you will. And we're kind of going to go over some stuff here. And we'll kind of go with it. So if you've watched the Tawani series, you'll know that my weapons have been upgraded since then. I went to the Call of Forsaken expansion to pick up the spells. I perused the group vendor and I purchased this. This is a level 100 monk hand-to-hand weapon. It cost me 1,000 marks of valor. I had enough from doing gribbles in between episodes. Then I was able to get that. I also picked up a Stone of Sharpening, which is a 10 damage AUG for that weapon. You can purchase from the group merchant also, but fairly good weapon there. And then on the other hand, I have a soul, whatever that word is. It's another one. It's slightly better than the crafted weapon here. Actually, that one, this one probably should go back to the way it was, but it's better than the main one was better than that. This one's craftable. This was really easy to craft. It's really, I don't even know what the recipe was, but it was like 2 of the essence emerald things that you get from this essence of Karana or whatever from this expansion, and it was pretty nice. But I'll have to swap that back in. I didn't realize they were like that, but yeah. So it's different weapons, slightly different stuff. I'm wearing full Castaway armor, so this is Darkened Sea armor. This is level 100 gear, so you have to be 100 to wear it. And all my other accessories and stuff are from the Reign of Fear expansion, if I'm not mistaken. So like level 95-ish gear, so nothing special there. So hotbar wise, let's go through them like I did last time in the 95 video. Not much has changed, so we've gone to, let's open up the thing here. We've gone to the next tier of spells, right? So Shadewalker Synergy has replaced, what was the Type 9 before this? 7-step pattern, I believe. So this one just, strikes your opponent with 3 flying kicks, does additional damage, right? So that's one of our spams every 30 seconds. And then we do 5-point palm, which is... Can't remember if it's this 5-point is AAA, so let's pull that up. So there we go. Can purchase, can activate. Right here, maybe it's architect. Nope. 5. I don't see 5-point. There it is. 5-point palm. So this just levels up as we go. This is a 5-minute reuse, but I just pretty much put it on my spam button. And it does 61,000 damage, and then does another Dragon Punch with a 451 point damage, so it's pretty nice. And it consumes a little of our health, but unnoticeable, honestly, unnoticeable. And then 7001, I think that's this one, yeah, Zanfai's Whistle. So this increases our base melee damage by 15%, and let's see here, increases all our other stuff. 2 just gives us more damage, and it makes our flying kicks do more damage for 3 minutes. It's a 7-minute reuse, so there's a 4-minute downtime. I have it on my spam, so I just use it on cooldown. It's not worth saving for a burn situation. Just always have something running is kind of my philosophy when it comes to this, and I like to have that ready to go at most times there. So my second button it'll open up. I do Vigorous Shuriken, which is not a high level one, I believe. I think this is lower down here. Vigorous Shuriken. So yeah, it's just a little thing, does a little bit of damage here and there. It's nothing too fancy. It does more damage the further away you are, but it's just an extra thing I hit. So see here, Phantom Partisan. This is a new one. This is one of the ones I just went and bought, so I haven't really tried it out. It replaced Zalacor's Fang for me. It's less endurance, so Zalacor's Fang is a 99, 450 endurance, where this is a 211 endurance, but it does kind of like summons pets, if you will, I guess, and it does little damage. I have to test the two out, but I'm thinking Phantom Partisan is better. It's from a later expansion. Same reuse. Actually, no. And the reuse is 30 seconds on this one, a minute on this one. Same timer, though. So it just, it is what it is. And then Intimidation. Let me do here. So Intimidation is a ability used from your action bar over here, but there's an AA that modifies what it actually does. And so we have Ascendant's Intimidation, what is that, 7? So it causes, damage from all our strikes, our punches, really. And just causes more damage for 30 seconds. Or, yeah, 30 seconds. And then if the mob is, what does this see here? 3 or few levels lower than me. So I'm 100, so any mob from 103 and lower will have a chance to be feared, which makes them kind of like mesmerized in a way, but you can still attack them and kind of get them going there. So it's a really really useful skill to hit now. Like if you hit it before you get this AA, the mobs will fear and run, and it's a terrible thing to do, and you don't want to do that. So, but as soon as you get this AA where Intimidation changes, I can't remember what it was. I think it's pretty early, but once you get it, it's worth having on cooldown. And that's on my second spam button. I do have a free slot here. I did have a Hide Corpse all there that I took out. I'm going to replace with something else when I figure out what to put there. And then combat buffs. These are the ones I don't spam as much, but I do spam them, if that makes any kind of sense. So Drunken Monkey Style. This one is an older one, right? So this will give us just a random chance to get a buff to increase the abilities to do one of our abilities, right? So either a punch or a kick, one of those types, and does that. I don't really follow it other than I just hit it and let it go. It's quite costly, and it does have an upkeep, and it only lasts for 48 seconds, but definitely worth it when it aligns right. If I was running Gina and I had that going, I might pay more attention to it, but then I'd have to like change my auto skill and all kinds of stuff like that I'm kind of lazy about, so it is what it is. And then Fists of Wu. Let me see if I can find that one here. Let's go by name. Fists of Wu right here. This is an older one, level 68. Grants your companions with the Fists of Wu, increasing the chance they will execute double attacks. So this is kind of like a group buff that will give everybody in the group duration 1 minute. A chance to increase their double attack. And you can see here that there's like nothing else that shares that timer except for Master's Aura. So that's just something, from 68 and on, you just keep using it, and it stacks with Master's Aura. So and then I have Tonpo's Stance. I have this one disabled because it was like sucking my endurance. Pretty bad, and it should probably be more in the burn category, but what this one does is allows 16% of your primary combat rounds to strike your attack for an additional attack that deals 40% of your standard melee attack, and a chance to do a critical hit by 10%, and it costs 500 endurance per second for 48 seconds. So that's quite a drain on my endurance for the way I play. of, you know, I make a video and I don't stop during that video for the most part. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Infusion of Thunder, that's another one I had in this macro, but I took it out. So this one, this is a good spell. I actually have it in, I think, one of these burn buttons here. What it does is it increases your base melee damage by 80% and raises the minimum damage, you know, somewhat, and then gives you, you know, more. What is this? Grants your melee attacks 20% chance to do the Infusion of Thunder Strike or Shock, which does up to 2800 damage for 30 seconds. So it's a nice little extra damage that you can get in there. But I stopped using it on cooldown, just because I think it was draining stamina. I couldn't tell. I'd have to look at it and see if it does, but it is a really nice ability to have on your bar. And then finally, I have two-finger wasp touch, jeez, which increases our base damage of our punches by 65%. So I have one of those on auto skill. I can't remember what at this point. I think it's Eagle Strike, maybe, or no, Tiger Claw on. I have Tiger Claw on auto skill, so every 3 minutes for a minute, I get a bonus to my Tiger Claws, which is the first ability right there. So, and that just increases that damage. So it's just something I keep going at all times, as I'm lazy. And that's how I play. I play lazy. If anybody watches the videos, they can see how lazy I play. And then the Shaman group, this is just a macro, kind of a social to let me know that is where on my Shaman character I have the group, all the group buffs, just as a reminder. So if I want something that's a little bit longer lasting, I'll put it in that macro. But right now I have it empty. So my first burn here is Spire the Sensei. Tigers, Spire, let's go look up Spire the Sensei, right? So Spire the Sensei, all of the classes get a Spire buff, right? And these are just like super maximize your character in some way. For a monk, increases our endurance and strength, reuse abilities, Sensei Guard when we're struck, which will absorb 20% of incoming melee damage. Our chance to increase our procs on our weapons, 28%, raises our minimum damage, increases our minimum damage on everything, increases our base melee accuracy by 30%. It gives us 40 points of attack power. It just goes on and on. It's just a massive buff list that just makes us powerful. So that's the very first one I click on, right? I just go boom, it's going. And then Tiger's Balance, let me see if I can find that one real quick. Actually sort by name, scroll down. Tiger's Balance. This is a level 92 disc. I don't think it's been replaced yet. I'd have to a little bit double check that. My button might be a little bit. Oh, there was one. Eagle's Balance is the one that replaced that one. So there we go. Eagle's Balance. So this is a upgraded skill here. Just adds extra attacks and does more damage, right? This is a 20-minute reuse, and I don't know what the duration is because it's listed as 0, but it just does more damage for us, right? So that stacks. Now I have Infusion of Thunder right there, and that's, you know, that's a 2800 damage proc, along with some other things, right? What was the other one? Infusion of Thunder, 2800 damage proc plus increases our minimum damage and increases our melee damage by 80%. That's we're doing lots of damage. And then I have Focus Destructive Force in here also. Focus Destructive Force is another burn that causes our primary slot to hit the target for an additional melee round for 42 seconds. So every time our primary melee hits, we get an additional hit from that. So if we hit once, that's another hit, right? And I don't know if it goes off of like double attack and all that stuff, but It does. Like you can see over here. So at some point I had like like 6 criticals in a row. Like I'm doing some crazy stuff. I also do silent strikes at some point. I think at this point in the macro, it's kind of pointless. I probably should put it first, but I'm lazy and I didn't want to retype all that. So silent strikes there at the bottom, and that just lowers our aggro for every attack. Just lowers it by like 55% for 1 minute. So we will get pretty, our burn gets pretty hardcore damage, right? So there we go. Burn 2, I have crane stance, which spoiler, there might be another one for that one. No, it doesn't look like there's an upgrade for crane stance yet. Good. And this will generate 2 very strong flying kicks, which if we line up with Drunken Monkey, there's a synergy there that we could possibly have, but again, I don't really pay attention to it, so I don't know if it does or not. Like, I don't pay attention to Windows Fire. So if we go back here, we get Swifttail's Chant. This is another one. When activated, all group members in a 100-foot radius restore 3,000 endurance, and then allows them to absorb their damage as melee damage. Or their endurance is like a shield, right? And I use that mostly because it's just useful. Very useful indeed, actually. And it can, like, if I'm getting hit, I'll take the hit from my endurance, which can be problematic, right? I'm usually running low on stamina and endurance, so it can be risky, but it helps a lot if like the bard gets hit. So Heal of Cajole, I think this one actually got updated. Yeah, when I hit 100, I didn't change my macro yet. This is now Heal of Zagali. So this one focuses our internal energy and Master of the Zagali. With this, our flying kicks do much more damage, a higher chance of hitting, and will execute more frequently. So that's just something. I use heal as my primary just burn, and I have them all like right down here so I can know when they're up. And I just click them randomly too during fights so that I kind of just use them and not always saving them. And then use item 17. So item 17, I can't, let's close that. Item 17 is the breastplate. Now each breastplate has a different click. So when we click this one, the Castaway breastplate, let's see here, focuses your chi, allowing you to unleash it for 3,900 damage when striking your enemies. And so that'll give us 8 leaves fist technique. I don't think that's a clicky. There it is. It finally clicked. Kind of lagging. And it has a 2-minute duration. So I think that adds like 3,900 damage to all our attacks. So it's pretty powerful. And then I have that in my burn. And one thing I did just notice in my burn, I'm missing this item. This is another clicky. Go ahead and use item blood drinkers coating. So this is a vampiric aura. So 2% of our melee damage will be healed from that. So that's actually pretty nice, right? We hit for 10,000. You know, we're getting like 500 point heal or something like that. Whatever the math is behind that. I can't think of it off the top of my head, unfortunately. All right, so that's my burn buttons. I'm gonna be adding a third button here fairly soon, most likely, to account for that. For pulling, I do a reprieve, which again, this is probably another one that's outdated. Actually, now that I'm looking at some of these macros, right? Yeah, that's the level 91 version. So if we go to timer 13, reprieve was replaced by. What was reprieve replaced by? Rest, maybe? Looks like rest. Yeah, rest. So let's change that to rest. Now, so I have it set this way for a reason. And so when you're in combat, you can't use reprieve. But you don't lose it when you enter combat. So, and I'm always running it, you know, usually less than 20% stamina because I don't stop. And then when I do, I rest up the full, and then I go from there. So what this does is on pull, now I rest instead of reprieve, and then I pull. So let me see if I can get it to trigger. No, I'm full stamina, so it's not going to trigger right now. But when I'm less than 20%, it'll trigger rest, which will then give me a buff here, which will increase my stamina regen, which lets me keep going. And it's kind of nice. It works fairly well for me. But, you know, everything is situational to each person who plays, right? And then I have Grappling Strike. I don't use it too much, but it just pulls the mob a little bit closer to me. So, so there's a trick to this. Like, I have on my Bard a knockback spell. So she's going to knock it one way, I'm going to pull it back to me, kind of thing. So when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it's annoying. So... and then here I have just a reminder button to tell me that I clicked Shaman slow, and that's a 30-second cooldown on that. So sometimes I can see when that's going to go up if I'm not looking. On 4 I have Mend and then Imitate Death. Imitate Death is the pretty much 100% feign death. It's a 1 minute and 30-second reuse, but I'm not really using it that much. I don't feign death as much as I probably should, but when I do, I like that. And then I have feign death here on a secondary macro, just in case I need it. But I usually don't. So then I have a Bard Mez 5, which, if you look at my extended target here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is my target, so if I target the dummy, you can see he's right here. So 5 and then 6 are the additional targets that are in camp. And this is just a reminder for me that when I hit numpad 7, that the Bard is going to mez numpad or X target 5, and the same with X target 6. And then if I hit this one, this is where the Bard mez is, so that's numpad 9. And then I just have Master's Aura right there for clicky. And I missed this one here. This is just a reminder for me for the others to feign death or fade, in the sense of fading memories on the Bard and then inconspicuous totem on the Shaman. So if I have a bad pull, I can get them out of aggro immediately, and then I can kind of deal with that. So like it gives me a little bit of time to figure it out and deal with it. And then I just have my mount here on equal sign, which every other character has their mount in the same spot, so if I wanted to all mount up at the same time, it's one button push. And then I have my 2 anchors, which teleport me back to my guild hall. Maybe 2 takes me to my house where I have trophies, but nothing really important there. So my follow macro, not really important on this character, but it's just the same one that I use on all the characters. So X target 1, so targets whatever X target 1 is. In the case it's just going to target herself. And then stand, and then follow. And then that uses the in-game follow stuff, and it just works for me. Let's see here. This one's Neshka's Blink. This is just the throw you forward teleport thing. There you go. Throw me halfway across the room until I hit an object. So useful sometimes, not so useful other times, but I have it there just in case I need it. Throne of Heroes and Origin, those are just teleports, one to the guild lobby, one to Crescent Reach or wherever your bound Origin is. And then shift numpad 1, 2, 3. These are all just hotkeys to remind me that that's where the Shaman heal is. So if I want my Shaman to heal me, so there we go. Numpad 1, she healed me, right? And then I think it was Reckless. So the first one is Reckless healing. So she takes damage and then she heals me, kind of thing. And I have that set up for all 3 characters so they can heal each other. And then a reminder for me on shift numpad 4 for the Bard melody. So this is like the Bard melody that I play. And you can't click it because it doesn't do anything, right? I have to actually hit the button with my keyboard and mouse to get it to do it, and she starts playing. And then shift numpad 7 will just tell the shaman to give me, I think it's lethargia, no fatigue now. And then, what is the other one? Rampant growth, which is just a 5-minute HP buff, which gives me 137 1,000 hit points now. See here, Gribble. I was doing the Gribbles quite a bit, and I got tired of like going to each one and typing it, so it's just a simple little social macro to target the Gribble. Hail him with, it's just slash hail is the same as typing or hitting H. Say willing, and then say leave, and then lead, and then we join. So it's pretty easy. Let's see here. And then I have my campfire, my Stein, my group macro, which just invites Ketka, Nilv, sets me as the main assist, sets me as the main tank, and that's it, right? I guess I could set myself as the polar too, but that messes up my healer mercenary, and it just gets really annoying because the way I play. Then I have a summon banker, summon tribute vendor, and all the different reward things that you get from the special category of, special category here. And that goes all the way over here to Lessons of the Devout, which is the experience buff that you get for 30 minutes every day, or every 20 hours. Let's see here. This one is outdated too. I just replaced that. So I also in my bag, so I guess I cover some clickies. As I get more clickies, I'll start covering them more often. I have a cloak right here in my bag. I think it's just a Reign of Fear one, but it gives me Illusionary Spikes 5, which is the best one I have right now, which is just another damage shield I can add to myself. And then I have an earring, which is Geomantra 10, which is just another, what is this? 30% incoming spell damage. Just a random buff, good to have at all times, right? Goes in the list, more buffs, right? Let's see here. And then I have that Blood Drinker's coating. You can get this from doing the Gribble missions, actually. It's quite rare. I've only gotten one in all the time I've played. I actually took this one off my Shadow Knight since he's no longer gold, so you can't use it because it is prestige. So let's see here. I also have a Abashi Rod of Disempowerment, which is a Dispel Rod. It's a 3-second cast. I think there's a better one I can get that's instant cast. But it's useful in certain situations. I can use it to pull if I want. Sometimes mobs have lots of damage shields, and I think this one takes 1 or 2 at a time. I can't remember how many this one takes. Maybe it's 4, but it's really good. It's the same as the Enchantress spell. This is all, what is all this junk? This is all stuff from the Monk Epic 1.0. I haven't finished. I need to do that. Get that done. And then I have a bunch of food. I have the packed picnic basket here I used to summon more food. I got some potions, but I haven't updated those in a long time. I just stopped buying them. Wasn't really useful when I stopped doing the solo stuff with this character. Let's see here. What else do I got in here? I got a lot of loot, but nothing else in here is like useful. Oh, I have this. The Dusty Soares worker pouch, right? This was useful a long time ago. I think I had this on my Mischief version of Tawani that I had for a little while. So just right click it, it summons fangs. It's really cool. There's some other clickies that you can pick up, but I don't use this anymore since I got the AA pull. So it summons 100 fangs, which have 170 range, right? So these are, pretty good, Luckland era kind of thing, but I don't really use it much anymore. I used it at some point for a little while. So I got 1,000 bandages on me still, and some cloudy potions and tokens of resurrection, some experience bottles, nothing too fancy there. All right, so let's do a little damage, and let's just kind of take a look at our DPS here. I'm not gonna click any buttons. We're just gonna kind of like go in here. So doing nothing, no haste. Oh, wait, let me turn off haste real quick. If it'll actually turn off. Well, haste doesn't really matter because the buffs are gonna be constant anyway. All right, let's get that back going. So we're doing about 37,000 damage right now without clicking anything. Just turning on attack, we're doing 37,000 damage. Just turning it on, right? And 38, it's going to probably keep going up as we get more and more damage into this thing. But there we go. Let's call it 30, 37, 38. Right now, what I'm going to do is hit my first spam button. There we go. Which, ironically, has the shaman pet go in. Regroup. There we go. Get that back on the screen there. So we're at 42. And let's go into spam 1. There we go, 43. And let's get combat buffs in here. There we go. 52. You can kind of see the damage is getting up there. So we're about 52,000 right now without any extra stuff from our other characters, right? 52, I'm going to call it about that. And we've already done 5 million, so... Alright, so... There we go. Now, let's just stop that. So about 50, I'm going to say, let's just say 50,000 DPS. I don't need it. I don't care about the extra 2. So about 50,000 DPS. I bet if I switch this weapon back, because this one is a little bit lower, we might get the ratio is a little bit lower. We might get a better issuance out of that. Right. So this is a 5-4 damage now, and this one is 5-7. So they're a little bit more evenly matched. So might get a little bit more damage out of it. But, you know, 54,000 damage seems pretty good. I don't know what a standard kind of DPS is about this level, but that's just no burns, no nothing, just my normal spam that I do. So right, so let that go. We're gonna go over here, turn the bard on, and we're gonna click on bard spells. All right. I just want to show like where we're getting some extra damage here. All right, so we're at 50 now. Let's get this going here. 50. Ooh, we're staying at 50. Are we gonna get more? Doesn't look like we're getting more from this one. All right. 45. We're actually losing damage, so tell me how that works, right? All right, let's bring the shaman in. And let's see, talisman. And there we go. I think that's good. Go. And so not really getting more than 50,000 damage. So usually you get more, but I don't know what's going on. I might be missing something right now. Yeah, I got the flying kick boost from Drunken Monkey too, so I'm not sure. But I'm also not clicking anything else beyond our normal attacks here, so seems to be about 50,000 DPS is about where we're at. I know I've gotten up to 70,000 DPS according to this little chart, so that might have been during some other situations. But what are we at here? Another 5 million. There we go. So definitely it's doable. Like I can kill I'm doing pretty good in the drunken sea, the darkened sea and stuff like that, so I think it's fairly successful. But the bard and the shaman, I think I already had some of their buffs, honestly, now that I'm looking at it. Like, I think I already had stuff, and I'm fully buffed from Guild Lobby too. So let's just say about 50,000 damage. DPS is our current DPS. I think we were about 30 to 35 last video at 95, maybe a little less. So we're definitely increasing our power significantly. We're, you know, auto granted all the AAs, so we have everything except for the burns and stuff that I'm not going to buy. But we're doing good. But that's how I play the monk. That's what I do. I don't have much else really. Like I can't think of anything I'm missing here, but that's all the spell, all the abilities, I guess, and that's how I use them. It's a very boxing focused, but there should be something useful there, even if you don't box. Like you might change some of these macros around if you don't box and stuff like that, to kind of compact them up a little bit, to make them a little bit more useful for you. But for the most part, yeah, that's how I do it. That's everything, everything I do. But yeah, so there you go. Level 100 monk. I feel like I'm slightly stronger than the heroic version that I did from the character generator, but definitely I'm having a lot of fun with this character. It's a fun class. I do have a two-hander I'm going to be starting to try out. It's a 7 ratio, and I think we're about that point where not that one, this one, Soul Staff. It's a 7.5. I think we're going to start trying this out in the next few episodes. I got to get the skill up, so I just want to make this video before I hit 101, and then it's no longer a level 100 video. We'll do another update video on this monk setup at 105 and see how we're doing. So 50,000. Let's see if we can get to 75,000 before we get 105. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.